My name is Lascelles Stevens, manager for Deborah Cox. I started out as a bass player, musician, songwriter, producer. I fell into management because it's not something that I ever saw myself doing. For me, growing up in the city, there was definitely a problem, especially as it relates to R&B music and the exposure that it had.
I'm Deborah Cox, singer, songwriter, philanthropist, artist, actress, and wife, and client of Lascelles Stevens. He fell into management. I mean, he really put his own dreams and aspirations aside to take me on as a client and to manage my career. That's why I feel like, you know, this award, you know, he's so deserving of the recognition and the acknowledgement, because it's not like he went to school to be a manager. It wasn't, you know, it was purely his instincts, his God-given instincts that helped him to make the right decisions for my career moving forward and for me to, you know, really have longevity in this business, which is very, very, very hard to do.
I am grateful for the achievement that we've had. Just last year with the Hall of Fame, Walk of Fame, Deborah's induction, and also the key to the city that she got. I mean, those are major, major things, and why they're so important is because it happened right here at home. As much as we live in the US, Canada is always our home.
Lascelles is insanely talented, extremely creative, and very forward-thinking. And I think something that I really admire about him is the fact that he's able to kind of separate business from pleasure. I think Deborah has been able to shine in her role as this global superstar icon because she has such a strong pillar beside her, Lascelles Stevens.
For Deborah, I saw someone with this incredible voice, a passion for music. She was doing, like, she would cover songs and bands and stuff like that, and I felt that she needed to find her own voice. I helped her with creating the demos, writing songs, etc., and shopping those around. But I wasn't thinking about it as a manager. I was just servicing a need. And that was to try to get her from point A to B.
I met Lascelles while he was a bass player in a band and a songwriter, producer. He had his studio set up in his apartment on Lascelles Boulevard. Go figure. I think what makes him stand out is the fact that he never wants to stand out. He's always there to lift others up. He's always there to champion other people.
Lascelles represents his clients fiercely, and we've done 2 deals together, The Bodyguard and Jekyll and Hyde. And what I will say is Lascelles knows how to negotiate hard, but he also knows how to close a deal. And that's such an important thing in life, and definitely worth honoring. He's honorable, sincere, compassionate, honest, and a strong advocate.
If I had to describe Lascelles in one word, it would be definitely unassuming. You know, once you get acquainted with his very wide baritone kind of voice that disarms you, you get to kind of, you know, be relaxed and learn that, you know, he's a guy who has so much experience and so much knowledge and wisdom, you know, in the industry. I think back to the days of, you know, coming into a boardroom with him. You know, he doesn't bust down the door and come in with an entourage of people. He sort of meanders in the room like a cat and maybe grabs a sandwich and a bottle of Perrier, sits down at the, you know, least powerful chair in the room. But the moment the meeting starts, you suddenly are, you know, hit with his wisdom, knowledge, creativity, you know, kind of everything all at once. And it's amazing.
Lascelles also is one of the most selfless people that you could ever meet. He's always thinking about everybody before himself. He's an incredible leader. He leads the team with such confidence. He's very inspiring.
Some of the favorite moments in my career, I would say traveling the world. It's crazy meeting idols and people that I grew up listening to on the radio. and being able to meet them, them recognizing and knowing who both Deborah and myself were, knowing the music and knowing what we've done. To meet your idols and stuff like that, and them knowing you, it's pretty fascinating. Being
there every step of the way for Deborah's journey and providing me with invaluable advice throughout my career as well. Yeah, man, so enjoy, and more than well deserved.
You're a solid human being, great human being, high integrity, honest. All the things that our crazy music industry doesn't really have. Congratulations to you. It's always been an honor to work, sit, fight, plan, strategize side by side with you.
Our business relationship of almost 25 years has turned into a friendship that was nurtured and grown out of mutual respect. Even in challenging situations, your silky smooth style and your calm demeanor made it easy to partner with you to represent your artist. Your business acumen and your professionalism will always be second to none. I'm so very happy for you and thrilled that you're receiving this honor.
The Music Managers Forum creating this platform to celebrate artist management is brilliant, because so often managers are those soldiers that are fighting even when the outcome is uncertain. They fight on, and you know, I really salute the forum for creating this platform for those unsung heroes to celebrate the managers in this way. I think it's a great thing.
Sego, Ani, my name's Elaine Bomberry. I'm Anishinaabe and Cayuga from 6 Nations of the Grand River Territory. I've worked full-time in the Indigenous entertainment industry for 36 years in many different capacities. I started out in theater. I've worked in dance as a publicist. I've been a stage manager. And music was always something I loved. So when I got involved in community radio in 6 Nations, CKRZ, that really opened the world to all the amount of Indigenous music that was being created.
Elaine was one of our first volunteer DJs, and she had a show about Aboriginal music and the arts. And she pioneered a lot of the advancement of Indigenous music in Ontario and then nationally, and probably internationally now. She has been the forefront for Indigenous music in this country. I think just her work with APTN too has made her qualified to win this award and being the leader that she is in Indigenous music in Canada.
I produced 2 seasons of Res Blues for APTN. This was back about in between 2005 and 2008. So Res Blues is a show that we pop up in different cities wherever me and my husband Murray Porter go. And ideally, our dream, me and Murray's dream, is to do it as a podcast. So
our connection in the beginning started with an event that the Toronto Blues Society organized called Res Blues. A one-off kind of a thing, and Elaine took that event and developed it into something larger and long-lasting. I, at the time, had a parallel career as a talent buyer, programmer at the Silver Dollar Room when it was a blues club. And it brought together, of course it was well supported by the Indigenous community, but it also brought in the just regular blues audience of Toronto. So it mixed a lot of people together, which was a good thing.
I've known Elaine since the 1990s, and she's greatly promoted our people, our artists, and their voices. She's also searched out untold Indigenous musical history. Elaine has created circles within the community that would not exist without her. I believe this is part of the reason that Buffy Sainte-Marie herself gifted Elaine with one of her Juno Awards.
Buffy St. Marie and the late Curtis Shingoose Johnny and I did our presentation to the CARIS Board of Directors, telling them that we needed an Indigenous music category at the Juno Awards. And so this is like in 1993. So that's really a standout moment for me that we were able to do that and convince them that we needed a category for Indigenous music. It's been being like a proud auntie to see the emergence of all our Indigenous musicians across many genres and really getting their voices out there and sharing them across Turtle Island. And that is a point of pride for me to know that this Juno category kick-started so many careers and also inspired other Indigenous music awards to pop up as well, right across North America.
She was a mentor of mine years ago. We first met and created the first non-for-profit Indigenous music organization called AMP, Aboriginal Music Project, and since then we've been conspiring and dreaming. I'd love to be able to also acknowledge that Elaine and her mother ran an all nations talent group. They lobbied and advocated on behalf of artists in the film and music and theater industry and basically made sure that the compensation was equitable and artists were respected and treated well. I think her mom would be really proud of her receiving this award.
I've known Elaine for about over 40 years. Over that time, we've continued to be good friends and help and support each other and visit whenever we can. I remember when her and her mom started All Nations Talent way back in, I think it was the 70s here in Toronto, where they started promoting Indigenous artists. You know, our community is large. It's the largest populated community in the country, and we've got a lot of talented people there. I called up Elaine and I said, we need to showcase all of our musicians and artists. And I said, I want you to produce it. So she said, yeah, we'll do that. And so we had a spectacular evening. It was called the Six Nations All-Star Talent Showcase. It was a phenomenal experience, and Elaine did an excellent job. And it was one of the highlights of my career. And I think Elaine, through the work that she's doing in building our musicians and also helping to write songs, is doing her part with respect to reconciliation with Indigenous people in this country.
I never would have imagined that I would be receiving such an award, and I'm just very grateful. And it's nice to know that the doors are open, you know, for our Indigenous artists, our managers and agents, you know, to be part of the mainstream music industry as well.
I'm just so happy to be here and share in her getting this award tonight. I think it's very well deserved, and just say, all the best to you, Elaine. I love you, and I just look forward to us working together on some other projects in the future. Yawa.
Congratulations, well deserved. All the best to you and Murray.
Hey, what's going on? My name is Haviah. I am a rapper, singer, producer, DJ from Toronto, Canada. I'm a creative. I love to make music. That's what I do. I started off singing for 7 years, singing lessons for 7 years, and then I got into rap on my own at the age of 12, and I kind of just stuck to my craft and perfected it, and it was a hobby that I didn't realize would become a reality, a career, something to live off of. But in 2016, things started to kind of shift a little bit, and yeah, I was able to be a full-time artist as of 2019, and I still am, and I'm just trying to, you know, put my music out, create impact with the messages that are infused in the rhythms, infused in the melodies. Yeah, just keep pushing the envelope. I'm definitely living a life the child in me couldn't fathom.
Haviah is my blood sister. I call her my baby sister, but we're almost basically twins. And Christina is her manager. She's basically like family to us. Christina is a standout manager because she really has a commitment to making sure that those difficult conversations and messages are spread globally. It's a really challenging thing to do and a hard place to sit in. And also she's willing to break down those barriers in really male-dominated spaces.
Christina's a gem. Christina's just dope. You know, first of all, it was a really authentic way that we started to work in the first place. You know, she came to one of my shows, and then we slowly built a relationship over months and months and months before kind of acknowledging, yeah, like we like each other's vibe, and like let's see what we can do on an actual business front collaboratively. But it was such an authentic kind of growth period, just getting used to each other. And one thing that was very easy for me was I felt like Christina understood my vision and how involved I am in creating my music, how much like I need to have a say over what comes out. And you know, I think she just wanted to support what I was already doing.
I think my first memorable experience with Christina and Haviah was at the Polaris Music Prize in 2019. Haviah was a little known artist before that and still developing her career. So this was really the first opportunity where we got to showcase Haviah's true talent to the music industry. Haviah ended up winning, becoming the first Black woman and the first rapper to ever win this award, breaking barriers and creating new spaces for people in the future. What really stood out was watching her live performance, where she built a medley of 4 of her songs, performed it with the band, and hearing the crowd erupt after that set was really the most magical moment. That's when Christina and I knew we were working with a star.
I toured a lot with the Lascelles in 2022, which was super exciting. We went to a lot of different cities in Canada. I performed at the Junos. That was an incredible moment. I also won a Juno for my project Stock Exchange, so like absolutely unreal, unfathomable. That's the word of the day, clearly. But I also did other things, like I put out my body of work. I put out Stock Exchange that year. I put out some really cool music videos, some firsts. Yeah, I think I just continue to validate to myself, to my family, my friends, and my fans that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And I'm continuing to learn more about myself, more about this journey. And yeah, it's just like a never-ending envelope of new experiences. So 2022 is definitely a catalyst of, I think, a lot of chapters that I have yet to venture on.
I have the honor and privilege of working with Christina and Haviah. And there are so many incredible memories layered into these experiences as a whole. To start, 13th Floor kicked that off. That was an incredible year. I remember being at the Junos in London, Ontario that year with Haviah and Christina. Haviah at the time had just completed her Juno masterclass program, and we rocked the red carpet. And it was then that I got to work with Haviah and Christina in a really immersive way.
One of the coolest moments that I've had with Haviah, most recently, was when she was nominated for the International BET Awards. We had no idea how BET got wind of who she was, and we ended up flying to Atlanta and walking the red carpet. It was literally surreal because we grew up on BET.
And I've been able to also witness Haviah perform, not only just in her hometown of Toronto, but South by Southwest, numerous festivals in the city and in the province, and that has been such an incredible, energetic experience to be able to witness her live out her art and share it with audiences familiar and new, and witness the power of her music on so many people it's just inspirational and something that leaves a mark on you.
What makes Haviah and Christina's bond so special in that partnership is that they truly do have that commitment to making sure that the messages are conveyed throughout their communities and instilling that change. It's really different to just like, you know, do an interview or have something nice to say once in a while. But when you make a commitment to actually creating music on a daily basis, you know, that affects communities at large like this, it's a whole different landscape. And oftentimes, you know, you could be outcasted for it. You have a target on your back for it, but they put in the work and they continue to do it. And for that, we love them.
And I'm incredibly honored to be on this journey with Christina. I'm sure we have many more doors to kick down, you know?
Hey, my name is Jeff Ojeda, and I'm an artist and producer manager from Vancouver, BC. I've been a music entrepreneur for over 15 years now, and I got my start as actually an artist playing in a band, and I quickly realized that I didn't like being the artist in the band, but I fell in love with the business of music. And so that's what kind of started me on my path, and I made my way through a bunch of different variations in the music industry, whether it be from a branding consultant to tour managing and doing guitar teching. I've done a whole bunch of different things that has allowed me to become, I guess, the manager I am today with the skill sets that I have.
He really is a pioneer. He is navigating a part of the industry that is far more conservative than it sort of lets itself be known to be. And he's really championing Kyle to be his authentic self and to write music from the right place and to commit to his sound and what he loves to do and what naturally comes to him rather than trying to fit into a slot that already exists. And Jeff is a real trailblazer in the way that he is making a path for Kyle to do that. And I've seen him be incredibly innovative and supportive and just overall be a real anchor in the camp.
He doesn't necessarily have the same privilege, I think, that many people do in this industry. He's an LGBTQ+ member of the community with an Indigenous artist from Canada. Like, if you couldn't have, had your cards stacked higher against you, I think, having that background. And the amount of accomplishments alone that Jeff and Kyle have had together over the last 12 months alone, I think really speaks to why he deserves this award and why he's a trailblazer.
I think Jeff is different than other people in the industry in many ways. I mean, how is he not different, He lives on the fringe, we'll say that. And I think one of the only things that he has in common with lots of the people is that he is in the industry. He's a brilliant strategist. He's always got a plan, and he's got, a long-term plan, and he's very connected with what's going on culturally and knows, target points, and is very good at building out how to make something move forward.
Where I am today is just a product of me really getting to work and focusing on what I love, and that's helping artists win. And I think as long as I, stay the course and keep my focus on that, I'd love to multiply what I'm doing and be able to do this for more artists.
When I was kind of coming, a bit into my own as a promoter, he was one of the first managers that I met, and he was just so easy to reach out to, and lent his knowledge of the industry to me very easily, and he was so welcoming. So someone like him makes a huge difference for people in their early stages of their career, and I'll never forget the impact that his welcoming attitude had on me.
Now let me tell you a little bit about Jeff. No, nothing scandalous. He is truly a one-of-a-kind human being and music industry individual, and he is amazing to deal with when things are rolling nicely, when things are challenging. It doesn't matter. He's fair, but he'll also light a fire under your butt when necessary. We're working with an artist together, pushing a great song to radio, so I set up a pile of Zoom meet and greets, and Jeff was there for every single one of them. No ifs, ands, or buts. No matter the day, the time, he was there. It shows his dedication to the artists and bands that he works with. Truly amazing.
I think what I really respect and appreciate about Jeff is that he's the same person whether things are up or down. He's a hardworking, thoughtful, empathetic, funny person, and all those things make him, of course, a great manager. Also, perhaps most importantly, he's pushing for change in the music industry, and change that is very much needed. And I think for that reason, I cannot think of a more deserving candidate for the inaugural Trailblazer Award.
The Trailblazer Award to me is an incredible honor, and it's something that is so important to me because you could be named Management Company of the Year or Industry Person of the Year, but a Trailblazer shows that you did it differently, and you trusted your gut, and you had strong intuition, and I think that's a wonderful thing to celebrate.